Hey guys, so this is my update 11 days into carnivore. I am not in my usual studio today because I'm just not feeling the greatest, but I really wanted to get the video out. So this is going to be like my uncut kind of just honest review of the last 10 days. So if you've kind of been watching me for a while, you're used to my like intros and are you one of the few? This is the channel for you. You might not get that in this video. Please forgive me, but I just felt like documenting the process was more important, and I knew if I had to really edit it I'm gonna be tired and I'm not gonna get the video out, and I just really wanted to get this content out because I think it's more important than the packaging, so to speak. So hang with me, hang tight. All right, so if you don't know anything about me or why I'm going carnivore or any of that, you can go check my video on will carnivore diet heal my eczema. All right, so we'll get that. But long story short, I've had eczema my entire life. I've tried all these different things, and I'm on this challenge to see if the carnivore diet will heal my skin. So I am 11 days in. I started with a 3-day fast, and then I went into my diet. So this is day 11, I think. All right, and so I sound, and if I'm honest, I think I look like crap. And I feel bad. I'm like, don't let this be the reason not to do the diet. Like, you'll take one look at me and be like, oh my gosh, this girl looks a mess. I sound a mess. I'm like, what is really going on here? But there's different things at play. On top of starting this diet, I'm also withdrawing from Dupixent. So that's like the Dupixent is wearing off. My eye flare was like ramping up, and anyway, I'll get into like my symptoms that I've had in a moment. So anyway, 10 days in. So the first couple days, I mean, it was easy for me to transition. I kind of touched on that in my last video because I did the fast first. I haven't had any sugar withdrawals or anything like that. Like I make mean chocolate chip cookies and a really good banana bread. I made both of those, and I didn't even feel an ounce of temptation to eat them on this diet. My diet has really consisted of like high fat, and then protein. I'd say I'm doing that whole 70% protein, 70% fat, 30% protein diet. I'm getting high amounts of fat. So a meal might look like I might eat like say a 10-ounce steak that was like cooked in butter with like 3 tablespoons of melted butter on top of that, like crazy amounts of fat. And I try to eat like all the fat on the meat, a lot of like 70-30 or 80-20 ground beef with, once again, added butter. However, I am about to stop the butter because butter is dairy, and dairy can be an issue for people with eczema. I just was waiting for my tallow to show up. So my tallow is being delivered today. So in my next video, I'm actually going to share if I've noticed any difference with the tallow. I did notice when I first started this diet, I think on day 2, I noticed a lot of nasal drip, nasal everything, and then it seems to subside. And then I had pepperoni sticks. This could just be like on day like 6 or 7. This could be coincidence, I don't know. And once again, the nasal, all of the mucus has been non-stop since. Is it the pepperoni sticks? I don't know. I only ate them, like one package, that I haven't eaten them since. However, they do say like when you're like going through this, there's like a detox process. Your body can oxalate dump. You can be starving candida. Like there's just so many reasons that I could be having a lot of mucus. So I'm not sure what the reason is, but I constantly am stuffed up. So that has been frustrating. I've also noticed, and let's just start with the side effects. I don't have any notes, like I'm just talking off the fly here. So let's start with side effects, because bad news first. So I would say the nasal drip has been one side effect I have experienced so far. Second side effect that probably started around day 7 is a little bit of like leg tremors or leg, I I'm not gonna say a cramp, but it's like the makings of a cramp. And I think that was just because my electrolytes haven't been like balanced. Speaking, let me get some water. I'm doing my very best to stay hydrated and to stay on top of my salty water. But I guess you need more. The days I drink like 4 of these, I feel great. But some days you just don't do it, and then I find when I go to bed, I can feel my feet going a little bit numb. I can feel my body just kind of, I might just not feel myself. I don't know how to explain it. So that's something I have noticed last night, and that would have been night 10, I believe. I had a little bit of like pain here, just a little bit. Now, before you guys all worry that I'm having a heart attack, it could have been for so many reasons. Like I was putting my body in a weird position. Just like, I don't think it was my heart, but it made me think it was my heart. So, but it went away, that feeling. It didn't progressively get worse. Now, I'm not a doctor, guys, so please, like, this is just like a whole anecdotal experiment. Do never use this as like the reason why you do or don't do something, but it's good to hear people's perspective, what they might go through. So I did feel like I had a bit of chest discomfort last night. I immediately drank some salty water and I went to sleep. I went on my merry way. I have noticed that I'm much more tired at points of the day, not like all day long, but I definitely have moments where I feel more tired. I live in a 4-story townhome, so stairs are just a normal part of my life. I do notice by the time I get to the top floor where my bedroom is, I'm winded or my muscle, I have muscle fatigue. I'm definitely don't feel like I'm running on 100. I feel good, but I don't feel like I'm running on 100. So that's something that's like a negative, I guess, that I've experienced so far. In the early days of it, I was feeling like when I breathed, like a little bit heavy on the chest. I don't feel like that anymore, but that was like, within the first couple of days, just it felt a little bit tight. And I think what's happening is because your body is adapting from I think it's burning glycogen, and now we're gonna burn ketones. And that process of switching over, it takes time. They say it takes about 2 to 4 weeks to really feel a little bit more optimal. So I'm just trying to run the course. So those have been my negatives. Now on to positive side effects. One positive that I've been experiencing is, as you can see, my skin has this glow. Even though my eyes have been flaring because of the Dupixent withdrawal, the rest of my skin just looks absolutely stunning. So that has been a positive. I have noticed very little inflammation in my skin. I still, of course, have like the leathery elephant skin. Y'all know I'm half elephant, but it seems to be going down. I did take my last Dupixent shot 2 weeks ago. Previously, I had taken Dupixent 5 weeks to that. And then before that, I hadn't taken Dupixent for about 12, 13 weeks or something like that. So my Dupixent has been very sporadic. I haven't been taking it like all the time. So what will work to my advantage is it's not like I have a ton of it in my system, but I still need to get it out. So as I come to the end of my 2 weeks, usually today I would be due to take another shot, right? So now I'm going to start to be able to know like, okay, how is my skin really doing? Because I would say the shelf life of what Dupixent does is like within the first week or 2. And then unless you take another one, you're not going to keep seeing constant improvement. So I will say the glow I'm going to attribute that to the diet. The lack of inflammation, I'm going to attribute to the diet, because even on Dupixent, when I still experience inflammation, I've been less itchy. I've been a little bit more itchy, a little bit more itchy in the last 2 days. However, not as itchy as I am generally when I'm on Dupixent, if that makes sense. So it's also come up to that time of the month for me. So I do find around that time of month in general, I get itchy. So that could be a reason as well. Elevated, is it progesterone or progesterone? Something drops, something rises, perhaps, and that can cause inflammation. Anyway, I will say my inflammation has been low. Another great thing I've been experiencing is sleep. I have never slept like this. And my circadian rhythm has almost gone in sync with the world, like with Mother Nature. At about 8 p.m. every night, my body starts to shut down and I want to be in bed and asleep by 9. If I can, if there's no distractions, if life will permit it, that'll be me. And I'll wake up at 6, 6:30, zero issue. That is quite bizarre to me. I've never, usually when I'm on my diet that I would eat, I am going to bed past 12, still waking up at 6. I wouldn't say waking up has ever been an issue for me, but getting to sleep, staying asleep, I am sleeping. I might wake up to use the washroom, but I hit that pillow and I'm out like a light. So that has been a huge pro. And I've even been taking naps. I don't think that that's a pro because, like, I don't have time for naps, okay? I have things to do. But I've been listening to my body because I do understand that I'm adapting and taking the naps. And I would take a 2-hour, like, solid nap, guys. Like, this nap is just wow. And I'll wake up refreshed. It's very important, though, when I wake up. I have to drink my electrolytes, like A1. And so that's kind of what I've been doing there. Sleep has been a wonderful thing in terms of, this is like TMI, but bowel movements, I haven't had any issues. I have noticed that the bowels have changed. Obviously, when you're eating a high fiber diet, your bowels are going to be more bulky and kind of filled with stuff. Whereas on a carnivore diet, first of all, meat is like 100, like, okay, don't quote me, but it's basically very much bioavailable. It's very easy for your body to break down the meat and fat. So you use a lot of it, so you don't have much to waste, much discard. This is kind of weird, but anyway, so the bowels look different. They're like thinner, but you can just tell they're very healthy. They're rich in color, no odor really, and easy to pass, smooth. So that's a good sign. I haven't run up into any issues surrounding constipation. I naturally, I think, had very good gut health for the most part prior to, so it was nice to see that my transition was, I'm still going on a regular basis. I can't believe I just said that on the internet. Anyway, it is what it is. So that has been something that has been very healthy. Another thing is that my no PMS leading up to that time of the month, 0 PMS. I didn't even realize that time was coming. Normally there are like different warning signs, and the less sugar I have, usually I have that on like under control. But it was like this time, I just looked at my phone. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's almost that time. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, then clearly you're not of the age for this. But I'm just, you guys know what I'm talking about, right? So anyway, that time of the month came, and there was no emotional elements. There was no, like, I just felt pretty normal, all things considered. So I think that's a good benefit so far. In terms of my skin health, as I said, my skin everywhere else except around my eyes and this little piece right here under my nose is doing great. I had this huge patch here, which if I can, I will post the video. It's gonna require editing. I don't know if I'm up to it right now, but it was pretty bad here. And one day I woke up and it was all like big flakes, and it just flaked right off. So I'm really hoping, it does feel like that under my eyes feels so rough, but that's kind of what feels like it's gonna happen. I did use a little bit of Zorvay. I think that's the name of the medication. It's like a topical, it's non-steroidal. I put like a very tiny bit on that last night because and this sounds bad, but I have a very busy weekend ahead, and I felt so uncomfortable in my eyes. My eyes felt so like swollen and dry, and I couldn't do it. So we'll see. But this part was completely, it healed up on its own entirely. So, and yeah, just my skin, like you could even see, it's just so smooth, and yeah, my skin feels really good. It's very moist. I mean, I'm still sticking to the same skincare routine that I was doing. I've posted those before, but usually when I wake up in the morning, my skin would be dry. It's not dry, so that's exciting. It's exciting. So that's kind of my first 10 days going carnivore in terms like to heal my eczema. I'm just, I would say I do, in terms of like my mind, I do feel like I kind of go in and out of brain fog. I would say that's another side effect that I didn't mention. Sometimes I feel a little bit foggy, and there's been a lot going on in my life. So part of me attributes it to that too, but I would say that that's something I have noticed. In terms of the types of things I've been eating, my favorite is to just go to Wendy's and get 4 large patties. It only costs $6 Canadian. I asked them to make it like a little well done because I like that crisp, you know, and I'll just devour those. Maybe I'll put like a touch of mustard if need be. That would be like an easy lunch. And every morning I will drink my coffee, and I will put a couple scoops of butter and a pinch of salt and my collagen powder in there, the naked collagen powder. So alone, it's about a 300 calorie drink. So that kind of gets me going in the morning because I'm not a big morning eater. Some other things I've gotten into is like ground lamb. I made like a ground lamb soup. I like to do roast beef and then make that as a soup. One cool thing that I made as well was I just shredded roast beef, and then I put it on my like flat top and on low, and it kind of like dried out and got nice and crunchy, and I sprinkled it with salt, and it's like a beef chip, like, and I just thought, you know what it is, a lot of times you just miss the different textures. So it's not so much that it's all meat, it's just that you're also like, it's like nice to have that texture. So even when I made like the lamb soup, I won't say I burned the lamb, but I made sure the bottom of it was like hard and crispy, and I didn't flip it, and then I added the water so that you got like a bit of a crunch in the soup, but you also got a little bit of the mush of the meat. That sounds disgusting, but it was nice. I also tried to put like just an egg yolk in the broth because they say that it's the egg white that is actually what causes the inflammation for people who are sensitive to it. I didn't really notice any difference, so I would love if I could bring eggs into my diet. I'm not doing eggs because of my skin concerns, so but in the long run, oh my gosh, if I could just do the traditional beef, butter, eggs, like, and bacon diet, oh, like that would be a dream. But right now it's kind of difficult because, you know, if I'm doing this to heal my skin, I'm not just doing it to lose weight or, you know, oh, wait. Okay, so I dropped about 7 pounds in total since doing this. However, it fluctuates if I drink enough of these. If I don't drink enough water, I've lost 7 pounds. And if I do drink enough water, I only lost 5. So 2 of those pounds is water weight that can kind of ebb and flow depending on how much water I drink. I'm really doing my very, very best to stay on top of drinking. I ordered the LMNT electrolytes. I just got the like no carb, no flavoring one. I'll hopefully post it. And I just bought that just so that I could know for sure I'm getting what I need each day, and that'll just make me feel, better. Like just the salt, I don't know, I'm pretty sure I'm missing some of the potassium or some of the magnesium. So at least if I buy the packet, I know everything I need is in that. Perhaps later on down the road, after I reach my 30-day point, I'll go back to just having the salt water, or I might even make my own electrolytes. But for now, I just want to keep it simple, and I just felt like buying those. The LMNT would work for me. I know there's a lot of controversy with LMNT, so that's why I did get the one, because apparently there's like low dosage of a word that begins with M that is basically sugar, and they didn't disclose that, but that's in their flavored packets. So Originally I had bought the chocolate salt one because that sounds so good. And then I returned that, and now I'm getting the other one that doesn't have any flavoring. So, because that does make sense. It does make sense for me to start feeding myself other things that my body could be reacting to or not, and then you're just never going to know. And I just need to see, does this work? Will this work for healing my skin? And please comment down below if you've ever tried this diet and did it heal your eczema. I really would love to know that. And if you have tried this diet and it healed another ailment, I would also love to hear that. So please share that with me. But anyway, that wraps up my first 10 days carnivore. I would say that the experience has been a 7 out of 10. Probably the only thing that is bothering me is my eyes, and my eye situation has probably not, like, really doesn't have anything to do with this carnivore experience. It's just been annoying. I would say also the congestion is just a little bit annoying because everyone thinks you're sick. But other than that, 10 out of 10. But because of this eye thing, 7 out of 10. So I would say, yeah, it's been a good experience so far. As I said, no sugar cravings. Yeah, I've been fine. I've been fine. I foresee myself going all the way. I don't think this is hard. I've had moments of meat aversion. I think one way to override meat aversion is if you don't have to cook it. I find sometimes when I have to cook the food, then all of a sudden I'm like, it's okay. So if you could, get the burger from the Wendy's, those are 100% beef, so they say. So that has helped, and I think just cycling different things. Don't just always eat the steak. Funny enough, steak is probably the only one that when I eat steak, I tend to feel like, okay, that's enough meat. It's like I get tired of it. But I do find, like, if I'm eating ground beef or the ground lamb, or, if I have bacon, or, I don't know, for some reason that the shredded beef is my favorite. Shredded beef basically in a broth, in the broth, you cook it in the broth, shred it like a beef soup. That's like my favorite carnivore meal thus far. So anyway, stay tuned for my next 10-day update. I'll let you guys know how I'm doing. It's going to be even more interesting next time because I'll be even further off my Dupixent, and they say between 2 to 4 weeks is when you really start to see how this is working for you. I'm looking forward to that breakthrough moment where I just can be like, yes, this is it. This is the way of life, I'm so hopeful that this will work. I've been doing so much research, and I look forward to getting to a point that I can properly articulate that back to you. But, some of the people I've been watching is like Dr. Ken Berry. Is it Ken Berry? Dr. Berry, I know for sure is his last name. There's a few others, but there's some really great resources online, and I do encourage you to look at things in favor of, like, looking on both sides. Don't just look in favor of carnivore, but just get a whole picture, a holistic view. Is this worth it? Will this work for you? Of course, talk to your doctor, depending on your health concerns. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully next video I can just be back in the studio and have myself together, but today it just wasn't it. And sometimes life is like that, but I did feel like this was worth sharing. So anyway, until next time, take care, guys.